reform it.
Maiden Speech, Alex McIntyre.
Madam Deputy Speaker, and may I congratulate the members for South Norfolk, South West Norfolk and Esher and Walton on their wonderful maiden speeches. I wish to first pay tribute to my predecessor, Richard Graham. Richard represented Gloucester and its residents for 14 years, and I thank him for his service. I know that in the last Parliament he worked to make spiking a specific criminal offence, something which I am proud that this government will deliver. It's the most incredible privilege to stand here on behalf of Gloucester residents and to make my maiden speech in this debate, and I think it is particularly appropriate for three reasons. Firstly, my local NHS hospital, Gloucestershire Royal, has played an important part in my family's life. It was where my wife and I spent our first night with our little boy, who turns 1 later this month. I've also spent much of my professional career representing NHS trusts up and down the country, and I've heard firsthand some of the challenges they face, particularly in relation to recruitment and retention of frontline key workers, to whom I'm sure we all owe a personal debt of gratitude. It is also appropriate because I know how many families in my constituency are struggling to get the NHS care that they need, and will recognise many of the findings in Lord Darzi's report. Seeing a GP, going to the dentist for a checkup, arriving at A&E in an ambulance and going straight through those doors, those might seem like the basic requirements of a functioning health service, but for my constituents, they have become a luxury. Madam Deputy Speaker, Gloucester is a city rich with potential. We're a city small in size, but giant in stature. We have a proud history stretching back to the Roman colonia of Glevum, one of the administrative capitals of Roman Britain. We're one of only 3 cities in the UK to have hosted a coronation, and our mighty cathedral soars above the city's skyline. Now, younger members of the House will recognise the cathedral's cloisters as part of the magical world of Hogwarts. Older members perhaps may recognise our city and our tailor as part of the magical world of another famous Potter, Beatrix. Last month we celebrated Gloucester Day, which marks the end of the siege of Gloucester, when our city stood tall when all hope appeared lost, and you can still find brilliant examples of our wonderful heritage across the city, perhaps with a visit to the folk of Gloucester or a tour with the Gloucester Civic Trust. And we have a proud military history too, from the glorious Gloucesters to RAF Quedgley, which is now Kingsway. And our historic docks, recently designated a heritage harbour by the Maritime Heritage Trust, is home to the brilliant Soldiers of Gloucestershire Museum. Gloucester also stands out as a place of great innovations. The vacuum cleaner, the Ferris wheel, the first jet aircraft, and of course, Viennetta. All pioneered in our great city. But our potential, our ability to be great, does not need to be confined to the history books. And no, I'm not just talking about the country's finest rugby team, Gloucester Hartpury, who have won the Premiership Women's Rugby title 2 years in a row. No, the early seeds of change have been sown in recent years, starting under Parmjit Danda, the Labour predecessor, and Richard, with the regeneration of the Quays, the Forum and the exciting new university campus, which is due to open next year. But we can and we must go further. Plans for the redevelopment of Podsmead and Matson must be brought to life, where brownfield sites across the city turned into the social housing of the future. This government's mission to get Britain building can and should unlock our city's potential. But it is not in development where our city's greatest potential lies. That potential is of course, in our people. The brilliant people of Gloucester, community-minded, fiercely proud, and quite happy to tell me exactly what they are thinking. But as the new MP for Gloucester, I know that while potential is found in all residents in our city, opportunity is not. I entered politics because I see the potential of every child in Gloucester, and I want to fight for opportunities like the ones I had growing up in a working class family under the last Labour government, for every single family like mine in our city. Because when I visit in my schools in my constituency, I see the next generation of solar and wind engineers, the next cohort of developers and cybersecurity experts, the carers, nurses and doctors who will look after me when I am old. Madam Deputy Speaker, Gloucester is a diverse city, with over 70 different languages spoken on Barton Street alone, a city which stood united during the uprising of racism and Islamophobia we saw elsewhere in the country this summer. But more needs to be done. At a recent meeting of the Gloucestershire Race Collective, I promised to use my position in this House to give voice to the concerns of our diverse communities in Gloucester and work with this government to tackle rising levels of racism and Islamophobia in our country. And as I work with this government to deliver on its mission to provide opportunities for everyone in my constituency, regardless of their background, I hope that those opportunities will strengthen the already incredible bonds that bring our city together. bonds which are best demonstrated by some of the incredible community organisations and charities working in our city, like Gloucestershire Gateway Trust, whose Bridging the Gap programme helps break down the barriers to work and gets local people into sustainable employment, like Gloucester Feed the Hungry, whose warm welcome, hot coffee and delicious samosas put a smile on the faces of so many in our city, like the Holly Gazzard Trust, tackling domestic abuse and stalking, turning the family's own personal tragedy into a safer future for all. There are many more, Madam Deputy Speaker. I could go on all day, but I'm conscious of the time. But these organisations demonstrate the very best of our city, a community that is driven to help others to achieve their potential. So in closing, I make this simple promise to constituents of Gloucester, the community that I am so proud to serve. I will work tirelessly to deliver a better future for our city, a future where everyone can access the NHS care that they need, a future where every child has the opportunity to thrive, a future that celebrates our heritage, our potential, our diversity, our community, our Gloucester. Thank you very much.